You want something. You want it so badly it keeps you awake at night. Maybe it's a promotion, a relationship, a financial milestone, or just the respect of people around you. You pour all your energy into it. You strategize, you work, you worry. And yet, somehow, it remains just out of reach. Or worse, you finally get it and it feels hollow, immediately replaced by a new anxiety about losing it. On the flip side, there are things you are desperately trying to avoid. Failure, rejection, poverty, illness. The very thought of these things fills you with a low-grade, persistent dread. You arrange your entire life to steer clear of them, but they always seem to be waiting for you around the corner. Why does it feel like the harder you try to control the outcome, the more out of control your life becomes? Almost 2,000 years ago, a former slave turned philosopher named Epictetus diagnosed this exact human condition. He realized that our continuous cycle of frustration, anxiety, and disappointment isn't caused by the world being unfair. It isn't caused by bad luck or malevolent gods. It is caused by a fundamental structural error in how we operate our own minds. Specifically, it is a malfunction in the twin engines of human motivation, desire and aversion. Epictetus taught that almost all human misery flows from two simple errors. First, desiring things we cannot control. Second, avoiding things that are beyond our power to escape. In his manual for living, the Enchiridion, he delivers a correction so precise and so devastatingly logical that, once applied, it changes the entire structure of daily frustration and anxiety. He says, "Remember that desire demands the attainment of that of which you are desirous, and aversion demands the avoidance of that to which you are averse. That he who fails to attain the object of his desire is disappointed, and he who incurs the object of his aversion is wretched." Let's break that down. When you desire something, you are placing an implicit demand on the universe. You are saying, "I must have this to be okay." When you are averse to something, you are saying, "I must avoid this to be okay." But what if the thing you desire, like a promotion, or someone's love, or physical health, is not entirely under your control? What if it depends on the economy, the mood of your boss, the free will of another person, or a genetic lottery? I sound as theological zelfin relatively solitary charges is to continue to send them remarkabiling and disclarately. If you tie your psychological stability to things you cannot control, you have essentially handed the remote control of your emotions to random chance. You are volunteering for misery. Epictetus was a slave. He understood lack of control better than anyone. He knew that his body could be chained, his leg could be broken, his master could sell him. If his desire was focused on having a comfortable, free physical existence, he would have been wretched every single day of his life. Instead, he made a radical move. He proposed a two-step framework to completely rewire human motivation. Rule number 1. You must completely withdraw your aversion from everything that is not under your control and transfer it exclusively to things that are under your control. Think about what you are currently afraid of. Are you afraid of an upcoming medical test? Aversion to sickness is natural, but sickness is ultimately a biological event you cannot fully control. Are you afraid of public opinion? You cannot control what others think. Epictetus says that if you try to avoid these things, you will eventually crash into them, and you will be crushed. But if you shift your aversion, if you decide that the only things you will truly fear and avoid are failures of your own moral character, failures of your own choices, failures of your own rationality, then you are entirely safe. No one can force you to be cruel. No one can force you to be dishonest. No one can force you to assent to a false belief. If these are the only things you are averse to, you will never incur anything you shun, because avoiding them is 100% within your power. Rule number 2, for the time being, you must completely wipe out desire. This sounds extreme, even nihilistic to the modern ear, but Epictetus wasn't saying you shouldn't pursue goals. He was addressing beginners in philosophy, which is most of us. He knew that if a beginner desires external things, like wealth or status, they will be disappointed. And if they try to desire internal virtue, they aren't strong enough yet to know what that really means. So, he suggests replacing desire with preference. The Stoic archer is the classic metaphor. The archer does everything in his power to hit the target. He aims well, checks the wind, draws the bow perfectly. This is his internal province. This is under his control. But the moment the arrow leaves the bow, it is no longer in his control. A sudden gust of wind could blow it off course. If the archer desires hitting the target, the wind can destroy his peace of mind. If the archer desires only to shoot as perfectly as humanly possible and merely prefers that the target is hit, the wind cannot touch him. You must learn to want the process of your own excellence, not the external reward. Consider the modern workplace. You work for a year on a massive project. You want the promotion. You desire it. You tie your self-worth to it. The day of the announcements comes, and the promotion goes to the CEO's nephew. If you had desired the promotion, you are now wretched. You feel cheated, angry, and depressed. But what if you had applied Epictetus's rules? What if you had transferred your desire away from the promotion, an external event, and placed it entirely on your own work ethic? What if your only desire was to be the most diligent, honest, and effective worker you could possibly be? The CEO's nephew gets the job. Has anyone stopped you from being diligent? No. Has anyone stopped you from being honest? No. Your true desire was fulfilled. Your peace of mind remains intact. Epictetus reminds us, if you wish your children and your wife and your friends to live forever, you are foolish, for you wish things to be in your power which are not so. This is the ultimate test of the Stoic framework. It is easy to say we shouldn't care about a promotion. It is brutally hard to say we shouldn't attach our deepest desires to the lives of the people we love. But Epictetus is not telling us not to love them. He is telling us not to make impossible demands of the universe. You cannot control mortality. If you demand that your loved ones never die, you are setting yourself up to be crushed by reality. Instead, love them fiercely while they are here, recognizing that they are on loan from the universe. When they are taken back, your grief will be natural, but it will not be compounded by the rage of a broken, impossible desire. In the end, Epictetus is offering us the ultimate form of freedom. Who can compel you to assent to that which appears to you to be false? No one. And who can compel you to refuse assent to that which appears to you to be true? No one. Here, then, you see that there is something within you which is naturally free. I'm Arthur's Bay by Draver Myriated, gentle scientist, incud diligency. We spend our lives running on a treadmill of desire and aversion, exhausted by trying to control a world that will not be controlled. We are like prisoners trying to bend the iron bars of our cell, while the door behind us is standing wide open. The door is the realization that your desires and aversions are yours to command. You can call them back from the external world. You can place them inside the fortress of your own moral purpose. Stop demanding that the world conform to your wishes. Start demanding that your wishes conform to reality. When you do that, You will never fail to attain what you desire, and you will never encounter what you fear. You will be, as Epictetus promised, truly free.